The harsh fluorescent lights of an airport security checkpoint buzz overhead. We see handcuffs clicking shut around dark wrists. A distinguished voice, strained with controlled anger, speaks. "Officer, I need you to listen very carefully. My name is Director Marcus Williams, and I run the Federal Bureau of Investigation." A skeptical laugh echoes off the cold terminal walls. Before we dive into this incredible true story that shook the highest levels of government, drop a comment below and tell me what city are you watching from right now. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because what happens next will leave you questioning everything you think you know about power, prejudice, and justice. Now let's begin. It's 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in Washington, D.C. Director Marcus Williams, 52, adjusts his tie in the mirror of his Georgetown townhouse. 20 years of federal service have carved lines of determination into his face, but his eyes still burn with the same intensity that carried him from a housing project in Detroit to the director's chair at the FBI. His wife Sarah calls from downstairs. "Marcus, your car's here." He grabs his briefcase, the same one he's carried for 15 years, worn leather that's seen him through counterterrorism operations, congressional hearings, and late nights that saved countless lives. The black SUV pulls up to FBI headquarters at exactly 7:15 a.m. Williams steps out, nodding to the security guards who've protected him for 3 years. Inside, Deputy Director Janet Chun briefs him on the morning's priorities: a terrorism task force meeting, budget reviews, and a 3 p.m. flight to Los Angeles for a field office inspection. "Sir," Chun says, "the LA office specifically requested you come. They've been dealing with some community relations issues after the Henderson case." Williams nods grimly. He knows what that means. Another case where race became a factor when it shouldn't have. At 2:30 p.m., Williams arrives at Reagan National Airport. His usual security detail is delayed. Agent Rodriguez called in sick, and Agent Thompson is stuck in traffic from a fender bender on the Beltway. "I'll be fine," Williams tells his driver. "It's a routine flight." He enters the terminal carrying only his briefcase and a small overnight bag. No fanfare, no entourage, just a federal employee catching a flight. Williams has always prided himself on being approachable, on not hiding behind the trappings of his office. At security, he places his badge and ID in the plastic bin, just like everyone else. The TSA agent, a young man named Kevin Morrison, barely glances at the credentials before waving him through. But something's wrong. The metal detector beeps. "Sir, please step aside for additional screening," Morrison says. Williams complies, arms raised as the handheld wand passes over his body. It beeps again near his ankle. Williams looks down, remembering the titanium pins from a college football injury, the same ones that have set off metal detectors for 30 years. "I have medical hardware in my left ankle," Williams explains calmly. "Titanium pins from an old sports injury. I can show you the medical documentation." Morrison calls over his supervisor, Sandra Martinez, a 15-year TSA veteran. She approaches with the weary expression of someone who's seen every excuse in the book. "What's the issue here?" Martinez asks. "Subject claims he has medical implants," Morrison replies. "Metal detector keeps going off." Williams notices Morrison didn't call him "sir" this time. He reaches for his documentation, but Martinez holds up a hand. "Sir, I need you to keep your hands visible while we sort this out." A small crowd of passengers begins to form, phones emerging from pockets. Williams feels the familiar weight of being watched, judged, reduced to a stereotype. What happens next changes everything. A passenger in line, Maria Santos, recognizes Williams from a news report about FBI community outreach. She starts recording on her phone and whispers to her friend, "That's the FBI director." But TSA agent Morrison overhears something different. He thinks she said, "That man's been identified." In the post-9/11 world of airport security, miscommunication can turn routine into catastrophic. Morrison radios for backup. "We may have a situation at checkpoint 3. Request additional officers." Williams sees the shift, the sudden tension, the way Morrison's hand moves closer to his radio, the way other passengers start stepping back. He's seen this playbook before, but always from the other side. "Officer, there seems to be some confusion," Williams says, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being listened to. "I'm Director Marcus Williams of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If you'll just examine my credentials." Martinez picks up his badge from the bin, studies it for a long moment. To her, it looks official, but in a world of fake IDs and sophisticated forgeries, official doesn't mean real. "Sir, we're going to need to verify these credentials," she says. "Please come with us." As they escort him to a private screening room, Williams makes a crucial decision. He could pull rank, demand to speak to the airport director, throw around his weight and connections. Instead, he chooses to trust the system, to believe that truth and proper procedure will prevail. It's a decision he'll soon regret. In the windowless screening room, Williams sits across from Airport Police Officer David Chin, no relation to his deputy director, just one of those coincidences that makes life feel scripted. Officer Chin is methodical, professional, but there's something in his eyes that Williams recognizes, the look of a man who's made up his mind. "Mr. Williams," Chen begins, deliberately omitting any title. "These credentials you're carrying, when did you obtain them?" "I was confirmed as FBI Director 3 years, 4 months, and 12 days ago," Williams responds with precision. "I can give you the exact date and time if you need it." Chin makes a note. "And where did you obtain these particular identification documents?" Williams realizes what's happening. Chin isn't verifying his identity, he's building a case for fraud. "Officer, I think there's been a serious misunderstanding. If you'll contact FBI headquarters, Deputy Director Janet Chin can verify my identity in 30 seconds. "We'll get to that," Chin says. "Right now, I need you to walk me through your activities today. What did you start this morning?" As Williams recounts his day, his phone buzzes with messages. His flight is boarding. The LA field office is expecting him. But Chin seems in no hurry. Outside the room, Martinez is on the phone with TSA headquarters, trying to verify Williams' credentials through official channels. But it's 4:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the right people are in meetings, on other calls, or already gone for the day. The system that Williams has spent his career perfecting is failing him. Then everything changes. Officer Chin receives a call from his supervisor, Captain Rebecca Hayes. There's been chatter on police frequencies about a suspicious individual at Reagan National claiming to be a federal official. Hayes has been a cop for 22 years, and she's seen her share of people with fake badges and big stories. "Chen, what's your assessment?" Hayes asks. Chen looks across the table at Williams, seeing not the nation's top law enforcement official, but a well-dressed black man with a story that seems too convenient, credentials that could be forged, and an attitude that rubs him the wrong way. "Subject is maintaining his story, but something feels off," Chen reports. "Requesting permission to detain pending further investigation." Hayes approves the detention. Williams hears the word, detain, and feels his world shift. For the first time, real fear creeps into his voice. "Officer, I'm going to ask you one more time to contact FBI headquarters. Ask for Deputy Director Chin. Tell her you have Director Williams in custody. She'll verify my identity immediately." "In custody?" Chen repeats. "Sir, you're not under arrest. We're just trying to verify your identity." But the handcuffs that appear 30 seconds later suggest otherwise. Word spreads through the airport like wildfire. Maria Santos, still recording on her phone, uploads the video to social media with the caption, "FBI Director being arrested at Reagan Airport, WTF is happening?" Within minutes, the video has thousands of views. Williams, hands cuffed behind his back, is led through the terminal as passengers film and whisper. The very technology he's used to fight crime is now documenting his humiliation. At FBI headquarters, Deputy Director Chin tries calling Williams' cell phone. It goes straight to voicemail. His phone was confiscated during processing. She calls his hotel in LA, thinking maybe he missed his flight. "Sir, Director Williams never checked in," the concierge reports. Chen's next call is to the airline. Flight 447 to Los Angeles departed on time. Director Williams was not aboard. A cold dread settles in her stomach. Marcus Williams doesn't miss flights. He doesn't go off-grid. Something is wrong. Back at the airport, Williams sits in a holding cell usually reserved for drunk passengers and unruly travelers. The irony isn't lost on him. He's been in countless cells over his career, but always on the other side of the bars. Captain Hayes reviews the case file. The credentials look authentic, but so do most fakes these days. The man's story is consistent, but that could indicate careful preparation. And there's something about his demeanor that bothers her. Too calm, too controlled, like he's used to being in charge. Run his fingerprints, she tells Chin. If he's really who he says he is, his prints will be in the federal database. It should be simple. It should take minutes. But the fingerprint scanner is down for maintenance, and the backup system is running slow due to a system-wide update. Everything that can go wrong, does. At 6:47 p.m., exactly 12 hours after Williams started his day in Georgetown, Deputy Director Chin makes a decision that will reverberate through the FBI for years to come. She calls the Attorney General. "Ma'am, we have a problem. Director Williams is missing." Attorney General Patricia Rodriguez has known Williams for 8 years. They've weathered crises together, from terrorist threats to congressional investigations. The idea that he would simply disappear is inconceivable. "Janet, what do you mean missing? He was supposed to be on a 3 p.m. flight to LA. He never boarded. His phone goes to voicemail. The hotel says he never checked in. It's like he vanished after leaving headquarters." Rodriguez's mind races through possibilities: kidnapping, defection, medical emergency. None of them are good. "Janet, I want every agent we have looking for Marcus. Check hospitals, check accident reports, check everything. And keep this quiet until we know what we're dealing with." As federal agents across the Washington area begin searching for their missing director, Williams sits in a cell less than 10 miles away, watching the evening news on a small TV mounted high on the wall. The lead story is about him. "This is Sarah Williams, reporting from Georgetown." The CNN correspondent begins. "The FBI is remaining tight-lipped about reports that Director Marcus Williams failed to appear at a scheduled meeting in Los Angeles today." Williams watches his own wife being interviewed on their front steps, her face a mask of worry and confusion. "Marcus is dedicated to his work," Sarah says. "He would never just not show up. Something must have happened to him." The reporter's next words make Williams' blood run cold. Sources tell CNN that the FBI is treating this as a potential kidnapping or worse, given the director's high-profile position and access to classified information. In that moment, Williams realizes the full scope of what's happening. It's not just about him anymore. His disappearance is being treated as a national security incident. Resources are being deployed, agents are being pulled from other cases, families are worrying about their loved ones. All because a TSA agent couldn't verify a badge and an airport cop couldn't see past his own assumptions. Williams stands up in his cell, his voice carrying the full authority of his office for the first time all day. "Officer Chun," he calls out. "I need to speak with you immediately." Chin appears at the bars, annoyed. "What is it now?" "Turn on the news," Williams says quietly. "Any channel. Then look at my face, and look at the screen, and tell me what you see." Chin reluctantly turns on the television in the booking area. The screen fills with Williams' official FBI portrait, the same face that's been sitting in his holding cell for the past 4 hours. The color drains from Chin's face. What happens next moves with bureaucratic swiftness. Phone calls are made, supervisors are awakened at home, and within 30 minutes, the Reagan National Airport Police Station is flooded with FBI agents, Secret Service personnel, and officials who've never moved so fast in their careers. Williams is released, his handcuffs removed by a visibly shaking Officer Chin. Captain Hayes offers apologies that sound hollow even to her own ears. TSA supervisors appear with explanations about system failures and communication breakdowns. But Williams isn't focused on apologies. He's thinking about the 17-year-old kid from Detroit who watched his father get pulled over for driving while black. who joined the FBI to change things from the inside, who spent 20 years believing that competence and character could overcome prejudice. Director Williams, Attorney General Rodriguez says when she arrives, "We are so sorry. This should never have happened." Williams looks around the room at the sea of apologetic faces, most of them white, most of them suddenly very concerned about protocols they'd ignored for hours. "You're right," he says simply. "It shouldn't have. But it did. And now we need to talk about why." 6 months later, Williams stands before a congressional committee investigating the incident. The room is packed with reporters, civil rights advocates, and law enforcement officials. The questions come fast and pointed. "Director Williams, do you believe race was a factor in your detention?" Williams pauses, choosing his words carefully. "I believe that unconscious bias, inadequate training, and system failures created a perfect storm that could happen to anyone. But would it have happened to someone who looked different than me? That's a question every American should ask themselves." The changes that followed were swift and comprehensive. New TSA protocols, enhanced training programs, revised detention procedures. Williams helped draft many of them himself, turning his humiliation into policy that would protect others. But the deeper questions remain. In private moments, Williams still wonders about the other Marcus Williamses who don't have badges to verify, who don't have teams of federal agents searching for them when they disappear into the system. The incident changed him, stripped away some of his faith in institutions while strengthening his resolve to reform them. He serves 2 more years as FBI director before retiring to teach criminal justice at Howard University, where he tells his students about the day he learned that even the most powerful badge in America can't shield you from being seen as a threat first, a person second. His final lesson is always the same. Justice isn't just about laws and procedures. It's about seeing the humanity in everyone who comes before you, whether they're in handcuffs or holding a badge. Director Williams could have used his experience to become bitter, to lose faith in the system he'd spent his life serving. Instead, he chose to make it better. That's the mark of true leadership, turning your worst moment into someone else's lesson. What did you think of Director Williams' response to this situation? Could you have handled it with the same grace under pressure? Drop a comment and let me know, have you ever been judged based on assumptions rather than facts? And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I've got more incredible stories of people who chose courage over bitterness coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.